Hello, everybody. My name is SpeZy. I'm the Islanders prediction guy. You may have heard of me, and I'm also in the event, so it's going to be pretty fun. And I'm
The
looking forward to doing these
prediction guy.
predictions. I am the prediction guy. That's what
That's
they
real, that's
definitely call
real.
me. I told everyone that there's going to be no predictions this event from me. So this is going to be a bit of a surprise. It's going to be funny.
Right, yeah, people don't know about this, so this will be very exciting. When I publish this video, it's 24 hours until the event. I'm hyped, but I'm like nervous because I want this one to go well. Like, I've put a lot into making sure this one goes well. Hopefully you guys, the viewers, are enjoying all the little surprises. Obviously we had the title earlier this week and we're doing a predictions video and the live stream tomorrow. I'm just trying to do a lot of stuff just to like build hype, you know? I don't know if it's working, but I'm trying.
Exactly.
The thing with this event is I tried to make it the most balanced event we've ever had, and because it's 5-player teams, it's almost easier to do that because I have a lot more control. That we can have 2 top frags on a team, and then have 3 bottom frags, and it doesn't just fry the team, whereas 2 top frags, 2 bottom frags kind of does. I'm really proud of these teams. I like this roster a lot. I want to know, how easy or difficult was it to predict it? How confident are you in your predictions?
Well, I came up with all my predictions today. And I had to put a lot more thought than I usually have to, let's just say, because the teams are just so... Well, not only... I think 5-player teams, it brings such a different sort of dynamic to, like, trying to predict the teams, if that makes any sense. In terms of the way people are going to work with each other, how well these players know both Brawlers and Islanders as well, because that's another big factor about this event. So I think it made it a lot more difficult, but also weirdly, like, more engaging. So I'm genuinely looking forward to seeing not only my predictions, but also your predictions as well. I think this will be fun.
Before we go into this, I want to ask, what do you think is going to happen with the game order? Because the viewers already know what the game order is, but we don't. It hasn't happened yet. In real time, it's currently 2 p.m. on the 19th of June, so game order voting happens later today. How do you think it's going to go down with, like, the crossover between MCC Island and Brawls?
Someone's gonna, like, reply with, like, that gif where it's like, he doesn't know.
Yes.
I think... I see some Brawls games being played more early, and I think people will play the MCC Island games more late. I feel like I would bet my life savings on either a Battle Box or Sky Battle finale. I just think people are going to do that.
Please no, please no, please don't.
I can see... I don't know what Brawls games are going to get played. I can see One Shot getting played. I'm pretty confident in that. One of the Rocket Spleefs is going to get played, just because there's 2 of them, so I think it's really likely one of them gets picked.
Yeah, there'll be plenty of votes split between them. I guess the interesting thing with that is seeing which Rocket Spleef people would prefer to play, because they both have kind of their twists. So I think both are, like, interesting, like, uniquely enough games, but we can't play both of them. Only one of them can get played. So I'm intrigued to see.
I would personally prefer the Brawls one, so I hope that one
Really?
gets
I'd
played.
prefer the MCC Island one. I'd prefer the MCC Island one. That's interesting.
I'm better at the Brawls one, so I want it played. I'm awful at MCC Rocket Spleef.
But also,
so
the Cherry
it's
Blossom
my worst
map,
game.
I'm yapping right now, but the Cherry Blossom map is, like, gonna be so painful with 40 players. Because, like, you know how we get to that point where it stays still in a big area for a bit, and then it just completely vanishes and, like, 20 people die? That's gonna be, like, 30 people, bro.
Bobby, I beg, do not pick that game. If I look at the Team Spire chat and it says, yo, pick Rocket Spleef, I'm like, Rocket Spleef Rush. I'm leaving, I'm subbing out. I'm sorry, you can get someone else in. I'm not playing.
Oh, bro, I can't wait. I can't wait for the chat to be flooded with people like, how is this fair? Up the game speed, re-queue. I'm not doing it, bro. I won't fold. I won't fold. I love it. I love the chaos. I think it's the best part of Rocket Spleef. I love it.
I really want, like, either Tug Toss or Parkour Warrior Survivor to get played, but I don't know if they're, like,
I
that
don't
likely.
think either. I don't think either of those are going to get played. To get to the other side map pool is... Wait, let me pull it up.
I haven't actually looked at this. Sorry, I should have pre-looked at maps.
Okay, it's Industry, Treetop, Scramble, Train Passing, Doors, and Skydive. Name a worse map pool, bro. It's so bad.
Scramble is hilarious.
Oh,
Industry could be fun though. Yeah, that's interesting. Do you think Hole Null's gonna get played, or do you think it's gonna be skipped?
I want it to get played. I don't know if it will.
I think Hole Null 40 players would be really fun, because it's basically just like MCC, so we can
MCC.
have a little simulation.
I can't wait to die to a slime 3 times and just, like, get 40th place all 3 times and lose the event. The other factor that's very unlikely, but I don't think anyone has actually considered the fact it's possible, It could be free Brawls games to MCC Island games. It doesn't have to be free MCC Island games. So that's like, it's unlikely. I think it'll be free MCC Island games to Brawls games. But
Can
it's
it also be
possible.
5 MCC Island games?
No, there has to be a 3-2 split either way. It will start with all 11 options.
I
and
see.
then once one server has been voted for 3 times, the rest of its options will be removed. So that's like the interesting thing. If people start by voting for the MCC Island games, they will be forced to have a Brawls game last. So you gotta kind of play your cards right there. And that's why I think, at that point, I think it will be a Brawls game. I think people will have already like voted for their MCC Island games because they want to ensure that they're in the event. It's like if you want something to be in the event, you have to vote for it early. But if you vote for it early, you're leaving the less favorable options for your team at the end. You see what I'm saying?
100%. Yeah, that's.
And I think
really
that's where
interesting.
things get interesting, because I would like to experience 40-player one shot. I think it would be amazing, but I don't want it to be Game 5 because Team Snout is just in Dodgeball if it's Game 5.
I think all the alpha teams are gonna have to work together to get a specific game order that they can win, and other teams can't. But that's difficult when every single team is trying to get their own.
Yeah,
game
no one
order,
will agree.
so
No one will agree. So it just comes down to what the wheel decides, bro.
the wheel will decide this event, I think.
How many events? Like
That's
15
good.
Islanders events, and we have learned nothing as a community, bro. I guarantee one shot will still be Game 5.
No, we gotta vote for it first, surely. I'm saying that. We're saying this. Everyone knows the game order. I just like thought
Everyone knows the game order. We're talking
this.
about what the game
Everyone
order will be,
knows,
and
yeah.
everyone already knows. Everyone who's watching this knows what the game order
Please,
is.
guys, if you're seeing this in the future, please tell me we voted for one shot early or didn't play it. I think we're both of us individually both would prefer more Brawlers games than Islanders games. I think we'd both agree on that.
Maybe. I think my Indiv would be higher with more Brawlers games, but I think I would prefer to play more Islanders games.
That's fair. That might be honestly the same for me.
I think it will make for a more interesting event. I think there's a lot more to the MCC Island games over the Brawls games. But then again, I'm not going to be upset if there's more Brawls games because I will do better. Like, my Indiv will be higher. Like, we played 4 Brawlers and I've gotten first in 2 of them. Though I have never won. I've never won a Brawlers event. I'm very sad about that.
Well, you could do the double here. Technically, if you win this event, you're
does
basically
it
winning a Brawlers and an Islanders.
Yeah. Does it count as a Brawlers win if I win this event? I
We'll
think
have to ask
so.
Vino.
Right. Surely. We should get into predictions though. We should actually
definitely
talk
should.
about what people are here to talk about, bro. I'll do like categories so anyone who just wants to see the predictions can just like skip past the yap. It's fine.
That's what we're turning the Islanders channel into. This was just set up for a podcast. That's why you made Islanders, right?
True. This is the Islanders podcast. This is real.
Episode 1 of 1.
This is the first time you've been in like an Islanders video. I guess you commentated like the Islanders Cup live stream, but how does it feel? You're on the main stage.
It feels like weirdly different, but I don't know. In the next 15 minutes, I'm sure I'm just gonna be yapping like I usually do on my own channel, so it'll be fine.
You gotta take the lead. I don't know how to do predictions videos, man. But let's start. Let's start 8th
Yeah, I
place.
feel like I
And we'll
know.
work our way up to first, and we'll just kind of see.
Okay.
where we're at. I've put together some predictions. I also want to take a guess at yours. And I want to see how much we agree, how much we disagree.
Are you just gonna guess mine first, and then you can talk about your
Okay.
prediction
So
after I talk
we'll
about
go
mine?
like this. We'll start at 8th place. In 8th place, I predicted Team Tied. I think you did the same. That's gonna be my guess.
I also did the same. I have Team Tied in 8th.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. The thing with Team Tide, I believe this is like a friend group from an SMP. They're all like SMP players. I could be wrong. I think that's the case though. I just don't know how much SMP skill. I think they will be more skilled Minecraft players than most of the people in this roster, but I don't know how much it's going to translate to MCC Island. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. Maybe it's just a fact I don't know most of the people on this team, so I think less of the team, and maybe they end up winning, who knows. But I don't know, I have less faith in Tide than the other teams.
That's fair. Yeah, I have Team Tied in 8th for a similar reason. I did manage to check out one of Voided, who's on the team's videos on the SMP that they're on. I don't actually remember the name
We've
of it.
done
But
some
they looked...
internet stalking. Damn.
Well, I want to see some footage of them playing. They had like multi POVs in their video, and maybe that was from their teammates, although there wasn't like text on screen, so I don't actually know who it was. But the people on the SMP looked pretty decent. So I doubt they're going to be like bad Minecrafters, and that could be good for Brawlers games when we have loads of players here who haven't played Brawlers and they have to adapt. Maybe these people will be better at adapting, especially as a friend group as well. But realistically, I think in MCC Island, it could be a bit bad.
Being more familiar with a game but worse at Minecraft is better than being better at Minecraft but less familiar with the games. It's like if Team Tide were to come together and practice this last 24 hours, I think they could cook. Honestly, I think they could pick it up and cook.
Maybe they are. Maybe they are.
Maybe they are. Maybe they are. Team Tide, where you at? I want to see you in the comments, gang. We have no faith in you. You heard it here first. Prove us wrong.
We're gonna see them in the event, maybe.
We're both gonna get absolutely rolled by Team Tide, and this is.
There's a decent chance they don't get 8th. It's just the team I know the least about, realistically. Like, I don't think they're that bad, but necessarily. It's just difficult to say which team they beat, if that makes sense, when you know the other team's better.
Yeah.
So I think that's the main reason I have them in 8th.
I think there's always a bias of how well you know the players on the team as well. Like if you see a team of 5 people, you know, even if they are like less good Minecraft players, in your mind you will think of them as more scary players than people you don't know who are better, just because you don't have that knowledge. You don't have the knowledge of how good they are, and it's hard to predict somebody who you don't know as well. So I don't know. Team Tide is the wild card, which is ironic because they're not on Team Wild, but they could do well. I can't predict them any higher. I think it just makes sense to not have a high expectation of this team.
Well, I think we're in complete agreement, so that's a pretty good start.
Team Tide, prove us wrong, bro. Don't. I feel bad. This is the one team we're going to agree on. Every other team we're going to disagree, and we've just unanimously agreed that Team Tide is going to be 8th. I feel bad.
We'll see if we agree. I did say to you before that I don't think we will agree, but I have no knowledge on your predictions. We might have the same 8. I mean, it's incredibly unlikely.
I'm going to blur this out so the viewers don't know what's coming up, but I'll tell you, just because I want to put your reaction in the video right now. This is where we're going to disagree. I put Team in first.
Okay.
That
is very, very interesting.
But
okay. I did not think you'd say that. That's crazy. Really?
But we'll go to 7th, and that's blurred in the video. No one knows what I just said.
I have Team Beep.
Beep. Ah, yes.
My favorite team, Team Beep. It's just like a car as the logo.
7th place? I might be crazy for this. I predicted Team Snout. I don't think you did this. I think you put Snout very high up, and that's completely fair. This is a very close event, keep in mind, so it's hard to say. I don't know why I put them in 7th. I just think the other teams are stronger. I don't think they're a bad team. I don't think you have predicted Snout in 7th. Who do I think you put in 7th? Let's see. Maybe Bolt. I'm gonna guess and say you put Bolt in 7th.
Well, you're incorrect. I put Team Wild in 7th, actually.
You put Wild in 7th? Really?
I had a couple reasons. This is another team where I feel like I know less about how well they're going to do. I think Fullbeam really works when grouped with like a lot of his friends, but I think this is one of the first times he's not with like Lunac. So I feel like that could also be a detriment to Indiv. And then outside of that, I don't think the team has any individual players who will be able to like bring people up when they're down, if that makes any sense. Because I think that's going to be important, especially because how inconsistent the Brawlers games, like switching between Brawlers and Islanders will be. I think realistically you're going to have a bad game in this event and you need to be able to recover from that. And I think if I'm looking at the team compositions between the teams that have above Wild, I don't think Wild do it as well as the other teams. So that was my main justification.
Okay. One thing I disagree with there is separating Fullbeam and Lunac. That's a very good point. But Fullbeam is still with like his friends, like he's friends with Hex and he's friends with Tak, and they will have that synergy required to do well. I guess I see your point with not having someone like at the top to kind of bring everyone else up. Like there is no like top frag on this team. There's no like S tier player if we're looking at the tier list. But then it goes both ways. This is like I think the only team that doesn't have someone who is predicted to be on the F tier on the tier list. They are kind of the team in the middle. So I see why you'd predict them low, but I kind of have faith in this team. I predict Fullbeam as a second frag here, but I think he will do better than he usually does as a second frag on a team with, say, Lunac. I think without Lunac being separated, he will have more of a reason to outperform, and I think he will do better because of it. And then I also think they'll do well on the Brawler side of the event, because Tak is extremely good at Rise Capture. So I think Rise Capture, if they can get it voted in, especially if they can get it voted in late, I think that knocks them up a few placements. So I have faith in Wild. I won't say where I've predicted Wild yet. We'll have to find out later. But I have faith in this team, so I'm surprised by that.
I mean, I guess this comes from difference of how we think the event's going to play out, because I don't think Rise Capture is getting played.
I don't
teams
think
are
Rise Capture is going to be played. So,
and I like the point about the synergy between Forbidden and the rest of the teammates. To be fair, that's fair. It's again, I think that even if you're really good friends with people, if you are just not doing great in one game and you don't have one person who can be like, oh yeah, but we have this and this and this, that can be difficult. And I'm not saying this
right,
team
and
can't
Lunak
do that,
usually
because
is
they
that
could.
person.
Exactly. Someone will have to step up and be that person, and that could be Fullbean, that could be Tack, that could be whoever. But I would personally bank on there potentially not being a person, and that's my main reason behind them being 7th. But I've had them, I did swap them around a bit, to be fair, in my predictions. I think they could do well, but it's going to depend on the game order, which is crazy. I'm already saying that when I'm talking about the team in 7th, but here we are. That's how the event's going to go.
This is a very game order focused event. Like we made the teams very close. Okay, I'll need to explain this. We have a predicted leaderboard where we take, it's purely numbers based, so we take players' averages to figure out what we think their combined indiv total will be, and that's kind of one of the ways we balance teams to ensure that no team is like significantly ahead. In this case, the difference between 1st place and 8th place in the predicted score is 321 points. So it's an extremely closely tied event. So it's hard to predict, and that's why I think we won't agree on most of the teams.
The average player on each team, at most, if you compare 1st to 8th, is 60 points. I think it's 64.2.
60 points is just not that many points.
That's
the difference.
That's a kill. That's a kill in Sky Battle on game 2.
Rise Capture. Let's say Rise Capture was game 5. Winning one more round than another team is enough points to be the difference from 8th to 1st.
Yeah.
It's close, man. With the right game order, any team can cook, because if they do well in the final game, it's going to matter. Okay, let's move on to 6th.
Okay.
I feel like I haven't said much about why I put Snout in 7th, but I will argue that when we find where you've predicted Snout, and we'll kind of just, because it wouldn't make sense to talk about 2 different teams. We'll go through your list, and then I'll bring up the reasons I put teams. If I put teams lower or higher than you, I'll bring those up when you mention them. I think that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah, I think so.
In 6th, I think this is a team that has 2 very good players, but I think the other 3 players just won't be strong enough to bring the team
I know who you're gonna say.
super high. Who am I going to say?
I think you're going to say June.
I am going to say June. I predicted June in 6th.
Okay.
I don't know. I think you'll have more faith in this team than I do, but I don't think they'll be much higher, so that's just going to be my guess as well. I think you put June in 6th.
I'm putting Team I in 6th.
You're putting Team I in 6th. Okay. Why?
I think they're actually a similar reason to Team Wild. They actually looked quite similar to me, but I would personally take I on an experience sort of basis. And also they might have a little bit higher highs in terms of individual. But I don't really have much unique analysis to provide on I, to be honest. I think it is really similar to what I've just said on Wild, but you exclude the sort of the weaker comms, which I talked about for Wild. I think they might be a little bit better on that. So that was all I could really come up with. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll get 6th.
It's a fine team. 6th is a fair place to put them. As I've said many times, this is very close. So I guess it's hard to know really. Putting them above Wild surprises me. I think I would put Wild quite a bit ahead of I. But then again, it's they have strong players. Aiden, Esty, and Riptide all on the same team. They are all top half players. I don't know where I'm going with this. I don't know what my train of thought is.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I get it.
I think your prediction is fair. I predicted them higher, so you'll find out how much higher in a bit.
The ramble you've just done is me during every predictions video. It's I put them higher. Yeah, I don't really know why I put them higher.
This is what it's like to be on the spot. I haven't done this before.
I kind of just felt like it, I'm really lucky though, because
it just works.
For the first 10 minutes of making my predictions, I completely forgot that Riptide is actually quite good, and I had them originally in 7th, and then I was like, oh wait, what am I doing?
Riptide is one of those players. Riptide is a B tier player on the Islanders spreadsheet, and I just don't imagine that. When I think of Riptide, I think C tier. Riptide is
exactly.
Better than
I did the same. Yeah.
Riptide is better than I always assume. So Riptide is an interesting one because I don't know if he's gonna stay like in the B tier and get like what 1,600 points. I think that's the middle of B tier, or if he will fall down back into like the C tier realm. I don't know how that's going to go, and I think that's a big part of how well I does, because if Riptide does get like 1,600 points, I think I could be a very strong team, and if he doesn't, I think I might be one of the weaker teams. Like, it can be, but you can pin it down to any player. You could say the same about like Aiden, who I would guess is the top frag on that team, and say like, if Aiden doesn't do well, I could be Ape. So it's like, it's hard to pin it on one player, but I think Riptide is the one who has the most impact, if that makes sense. Okay, let's move on to 5th. So earlier on, I predicted that you might put Team Bolt quite lower down. This is where I put Team Bolt. I think Team Bolt will place 5th. I don't think this team is as close as some of the top teams, so I don't think this team can be in your top half. So I'm going to predict you also put Team Bolt in 5th.
I did put Team Bolt in 5th. Hold on.
Okay, I got one right. Let's go. Let's go. This is big.
I mean, standout player here is definitely Winters, and I mean, Persnif and I think T-Bez as well is also quite good. Verz and Jordan also know each other really well. They've teamed each other a couple times, and I think they're also both improving. So I think this is in a very improving base team, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think I checked. I don't know if Winters has played Islanders in Season 2. I could be wrong saying that, but I think I only saw them on the Season 1 spreadsheet.
So, yeah.
But Winters was very, very good. Now, Brawl's experience could be a bit of a hindrance here. I actually didn't fully check, but I don't think many of them have played Brawls. I think Jordan and maybe Verz has, but I don't know if the other 3 have.
Right.
So that was one thing that I thought could hinder them, but I think individually they're a really good team. If this team gels together, yeah, I 100% agree. I think if they gel together, this team could make Dodgeball, but I think realistically they balance out towards the middle of the pack. I think this is another team a little bit like Tide in a way, where I think this team could get so many different placements. But in the case of Bolt, I ended up rounding them just to the middle, because I do actually know this team in comparison to Tide, where I don't. So
right, okay.
I think fifth in my head is a very good placement for them, and I think honestly they'd be happy with 5th. I think that'd be a good placement for them.
Yeah, I think so. One thing you said that I do agree with is you said this is like a very improving team, especially with like the lower half, like Jordan and Verz. They have been improving a lot. There was a point where they have both been F tier, and now both of them are currently in the D tier. So like they've gone up a tier. That's like it's kind of difficult to build up. So the fact that they have done that is like a big improvement. It's the question for this team of, is it enough of an improvement to win? And I think they would like to win this event. It would be very cool to see Jordan and Verz win an event, because like, I don't know, it would be a good way to go full circle. Like, they've had this improvement arc, they've kept playing in Islanders, they've both gotten better, they've both gone up a tier, and they end it off by like winning an event. I think that would be very cool. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but it would be very cool. And it's the question of, have they improved enough to make that possible? I have no worries that the top half, Winters and Persnif, I have no worries that they're gonna do well. So if they can be top of bottom half and Winters and Persnif can be top of top half, then all of a sudden they look like a really strong team. I think improvement is a good way to put it. It's a question of, have they improved enough to win?
Yeah, I agree with all of that. So
I think it'll be very interesting. I think like I'm hoping at least one of them is streaming, because this is a team that I would like to watch back.
Right, moving on to the 4th. What have you got?
Top half now. So this is where it gets interesting. See, this is where it's like super close, and I think it will go to show, because you've already mentioned a lot of the teams that I have in the top half in your bottom half. And in 4th place, I put Team I. I think you put Team I a bit lower. I think we've already kind of talked about Team I.
Yeah, I put Team I in 6th.
So who do I think you put in 4th? Who do we still have here? See, I put June and Snout in the bottom half, and you still haven't, like, they're both in the top half for you, right? So I think it'll be one of those two. I'll go with June. I think you put June in 4th.
You are incorrect. I have Team Snout in 4th.
Snout. Okay. It had to be one of the two.
You had the right idea. You had the right idea.
Snout below June. Okay. So why? What's up with this team? Bottom of top half. That's pretty good.
Well, I really struggled with my top 4. I mean, if we started recording 20 minutes before, I would have had Snout in 1st, but I ended up moving them back to 4th. So I've really struggled with this. I think my reason is that the team is spread really thin. If we only play 2 Brawlers games, I don't think this team does that well. But I think if we play 3 and they get some momentum, you get like a Brawls game 1-2, and then you get like a one-shot finale, this team wins by 5k.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right, I see. So this is almost a Brawlers team. This would be a much better Brawlers team than an Island team. So if they can get like the majority of people to vote for the Brawlers modes, especially if they can get one-shot late, because Ripnad is just insane at one-shot. It's unfathomable. I don't understand. Then that's easily, especially if it's game Game 5 with the 3x multiplier. It's the difference between 4th and 1st, no question. So I see what you're saying. It's difficult to know. I can't add much to this. I predicted them in 7th, so
Yeah.
it might be right.
I think the best way I can describe it is I talked about Bolt having a lot of variety depending on how they can communicate. I think Snout is almost the opposite. It's a lot of variety based on how well they specifically can play, because I don't really have any doubts that they're going to all work fine together. I think this is a group of people. I don't know if they necessarily know each other, but I think they're all quite vocal. I think they'll all do quite well. It's just going to depend on what games are played. On average, I would put them above them more times than not. So that's why I have them in 4th. Over Bolt in 5th. But I don't have them in the top 3, though, because of how much they will have to rely on either a one-shot finale or just overall late Brawls games. Because I think this team, if this was a Brawls event, they would win. I think they would win. It's just, they just have to, they rely on that a lot.
This would easily be the strongest Brawlers team we've ever had if this was like the Brawlers roster. This is such a crazy team in that sense. So I definitely agree with that. The interesting thing I have to mention about this team is I earlier mentioned the predicted leaderboard that we have with the averages. This team is based on that predicted first. It's crazy how much our predictions differ. Like the predicted leaderboard puts them in 1st, you put them in 4th, I put them in 7th. And that's like...
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. This team definitely has what it takes to win. At this point, it's just game order. I feel like that's what we're going to keep saying. I feel like it's going to get really repetitive, but it's true.
Okay, so wait, what are the last 3 teams that you have left in your predictions that you haven't done yet?
I've got Rib, Spire, and Wild.
I've got June, Rib, Spire.
Okay, well, we'll move on to it then. I don't think you're going to put June in the top 2. I think you're thinking Aspire versus Rib. Ha, that's our teams. Wow, how coincidental. Wow. I think you're going to predict us in Dodgeball. So I'm going to say for 3rd place, you predicted Team June. And I'll reveal that I predicted Team Rib.
Ooh, interesting. I did put one of those 2 teams in 3rd, and it was June.
It was June. Okay, so, you've predicted us in Dodgeball. That's fair.
I did. I didn't do that intentionally, just to be completely honest. Like, I genuinely think that's the most likely outcome.
Bias.
I'm not trolling. All right.
Rigged. We're both in the event team. We have the best teams. It's rigged.
No,
Hey,
I have
let's talk
June
about
in 3rd. I honestly did think that you were going to put June lower than I would. Because if you're looking at the stats sheet, which we just mentioned, June are in 7th. And then I looked at the individual placements, and then I thought to myself, I completely disagree. I just think that this team, in a combined event, is so flexible. This team has a lot of good experience with Distraction and Telling that immediately brings them up for me. Both those players are really good. Distraction has done well in Season 1 Brawlers, and Telling has done well in Season 2 Brawlers. Both of them have done really well in Islanders. I think that those 2 leading a team, that it cannot do bad, even if the rest of the team does bad. And Super's been going through a lot of improvement recently, and then there's 2 newcomers who could overperform what they're predicted at. I think this team will do super well.
I see. I like that. I predicted them lower because, like, there's no doubt in my mind that Distraction and Telling will do well, but Telling doesn't do as well when he's not the top frag. Telling would overperform and get, like, 2k points if he was the top frag, and I think the fact he isn't will almost bring him down a little, even if ultimately it's a better thing for the team. Like, the amount less points I think he'll get is less so than if he was the top frag and the second frag was someone else. Like, I think that second frag would get less points than Telling will. So ultimately, I think it's a good thing for the team. But what I'm saying is I don't think they're going to get, like, 1st and 2nd place, which is something individually you could see happening. Like, if they were on separate teams, you could see Distraction and Telling getting 1st and 2nd.
I did think about what you've just said about Telling doing worse than other S tier. I had 2 reasons to why I disagree with that. First of all, I'm pretty sure the only, like, A/S tier, like, top frag he's teamed with is me. And what I thought about that is that me and Distraction, I think, are very different to be with, because my second reason is that I'm pretty sure Distraction doesn't speak in events. Am I correct about saying that?
That's right. That could also be a very good point to bring up.
The point is Telling might be getting brought down by the fact that he's not the one leading the team, but that will be the case on this team. He's going to be the one giving the main
he is
controls.
the leader, yeah, because Distraction isn't giving the leader.
That's why I don't agree with that personally, because I think this is a very different dynamic to what the other teams that Telling's been on has been like. I think it's difficult to predict it because it is a new dynamic. It's different, so I guess that's a fair point. But I think overall it's different to what, like, sort of the lower end of the teams that Telling's been on. So I think that's why.
What you're saying is you don't think Telling will be as affected by not being the top frag because the person who is the top frag isn't the leader, whereas in other cases the top frag has been the leader.
I don't think he's necessarily brought down just by the numbers. I think it's brought down by the sort of the stature of being like the main shot caller
By
on
not,
the team.
yeah, by not being the shot caller. So he will be the shot caller, and because of that, he'll still do equally as well as if he were the top frag.
Completely.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
completely.
see. That's interesting. That's an interesting perspective.
You think about how much chaos 5 players on the team is. Super and Distraction
Yeah.
are both mute. They are
Having
both
mutes on the
mute.
team might be an advantage when there's 5 people, because if
It
5
could
people are
be an
yelling over each
advantage.
other, it's all over the place. Distraction's good, telling's good, super is definitely getting better, but is it enough to be a dodgeball team? And I just didn't think so.
When I was thinking of June, I was like, wow, if they get Rocket Spleef, either of them, if they get like a Tug Toss or a Parkour Warrior, if they get those types of games like a normal Rise, they are smooth sailing. They are going to be so fine.
Out of interest, is this another team that could benefit from having majority Brawlers games? Because something I'm also now remembering
Yes,
is Crystal
I think
is
so.
a Brawls player. Crystal is active on Brawls. And I think Distraction and Telling won't be hurt by the fact there's more Brawls games. Like, they're both good at Island, but I think they're both equally good at Brawls.
I actually think both of them will benefit from Brawls.
Distraction, Telling, Super, Crystal, those 4 together, they're all good Brawls players. And it's like, so
Exactly.
could having the advantage, could that boost them up significantly? Maybe. Maybe that's what they want.
As what I said made you change your mind a little bit on the team?
I like where I've put them. I kind of stand by it, but that is an interesting perspective. I do like what you're going for. I'm going to trust my gut. I said they were 6th originally. I'm going to stand by it and hope I'm right.
Yeah.
So we're in
That
dodgeball.
was
Okay.
a good yap. That was a good yap. I like that.
We're up to the top 2 dodgeball teams. So you have Rib and Spire. I have Spire and Wild. Okay.
You have Wild.
I have Wild.
So
yeah.
That's
So my
so
my
crazy.
second place team is Team Wild. Where did you put Wild again? You put them in like 7th, right?
Seventh.
Yeah.
Seventh.
That's why I was so surprised by that. I don't know if you'd predict me first. I think you're more likely to predict yourself first than me. So I'm going to say your second place team is Team Spire.
Well, I can say in second place I have Team Rib.
What?
At least, at least going by points. I actually think we might be a better dodgeball team than you, so maybe we'd win the event. But in terms of points,
Okay.
I'd say that we are second.
Right. Wild is a team that I have a lot of faith in. I don't think they really... One thing I mentioned earlier is they're like the one team that doesn't have like an F tier on the team. The bottom frag is Tack, but Tack will do good at the Brawlers games, especially if Rise captures in. And I think she will also be a good leader. Tack will be, despite being a bottom frag player, Tack will be a good replacement for Lunak in terms of keeping the team intact and giving the correct comms. I think they will have the synergy and Tack will have the comms for that team to do extremely well. And also, Wild has never won an Islanders event. It's the one team that's never been in a dodgeball. I would like to see Team Wild in a dodgeball. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I have bias because of that. But I have faith in this team. I like this team. So yeah,
Well,
I put
like
them
this
up in
as well.
second.
I think they're a great team. I have them in seventh. I'm wondering which of us will be closer to Wild being correct then, because that's really interesting to me. Yeah, but no, I have Rib in second. I really struggled to think of where my team was going to go when I first was thinking about my rankings. Even when the teams came out, actually, my team is the most deep team in terms of like the analysis you could do on where we'd finish in the whole event. In terms of there were so many
fully
factors
agree.
to where my team could place. Teams like this have gotten 8th, and teams like this have gotten first. I don't even know where to start. Where do you want me to start? Like, there's so many things to talk about.
I think we start by looking at you teaming with Lunak. That's a big thing and something I think people are going to be very scared of because you are both very good players.
So me and Lunak are both very good Islanders players and very good Brawlers players. Both of us have done well across both the events, so I think we're a really good duo. I think my team is arguably one of the best teams individually. In my opinion, actually maybe the best. The issue is how is the team all going to function together? Because obviously I'm going to be trying to lead this team. This team has very different players on it. So it's going to be, are we going to gel in the event or is it just not going to end up working out? We talk about Telling teaming with Estes. Realistically, me and Telling have teamed twice together. First time we got 4th as a team. The second time we got 8th as a team. Both times our teams looked really strong on paper. Is me leading a team with another really good player on it like Lunak, is the same thing going to happen? Or is it going to be different because it's Lunak? Or is Lunak going to take a different type of role and it's going to bring a whole new like dimension to how the team functions? And that's going to make us do differently. It's so hard to call. I want to have a good event because obviously I want to finish Islanders strong. My target this event is top 3 Indiv. So that's what I'm shooting for.
I have a question. Have you ever gotten first Indiv in one of these events?
No. That's
No,
the second.
this is your time, bro. It's very much in
This
the
is
cards
my
for you.
time. This is my
It's
time.
very
This is
much
my
in the
time. I
cards.
know.
It's absolutely possible that you get first into this event. I think a big thing with this team, as you mentioned, it's like there have been teams that are very strong on paper, and I have to look at you teaming with Telling and Islanders 8, team tied, and it's like you are such a strong team on paper, but the whole you working with someone else who is also a top fragger leader, it kind of clashes. The comms aren't there as much as they should be. I don't know. I think you will be able to gel better with Lunak than you have with Telling, but it's the question of you and Lunak are both very much team leaders, and is that going to clash, and is that going to be a bad thing? It might be, it might not be. It's hard to know, but individually, I think you'll both do well. And then the other player I have to really focus on here is Royals, because Royals, I think they started with Islanders. I think the first like Minecraft event they played was like Islanders. I could be wrong, but that kind of seemed to be the case. And they like their first Islanders, they weren't very good, but then they played in the Brawlers following it, and they got 7th place individually. So the improvement in that time space is huge, and if they've continued to improve, they could be insane in this event. And if they are insane, you are absolutely a dodgeball team. It's kind of like how I falls on like Riptide's placement. This team falls on Royals' placement. I think Royals will have a very big impact on this team.
I think Royals is also the only player I don't know too well on my team. In my head, I imagine me as sort of the bridge between all the people who don't know each other realistically, because I think I know the most amount of people on our team. I know Ruby or Infected Muximp from, I mean, in real life, but also we met online, but like, so I know her really well. And then I've talked to Lunak a lot, and I've also talked to Rad a bit. Everyone on our team has experience on brawls. I think that's a really good positive. I don't know, if you put a gun to my head and ask me which team is winning Dodgeball in this event, I would probably say my team. And
Right.
so that's basically why I have us in second.
If you make it to Dodgeball, you will win, because Royals was surprisingly good in the, I think it was Brawlers Dodgeball, and then you and Lunak are obviously, there's not much to say, you're both good players. So I think, yeah, if you make it to Dodgeball, you most likely win the event.
And also Ruby plays a ton of Dodgeball as well on brawls.
Okay.
Albeit
So
she
yeah,
doesn't really play the other
this
game.
is just
So yeah,
all
our
around
team is
good Dodgeball team.
our
Yeah.
team is a really good, yeah.
I would like the Dodgeball to go to 2-2 because it's just more interesting that way. But I think if any team is ever going to sweep another team, it's probably going to be yours. And I don't know, I think it would be an impressive feat nonetheless. Going up to first place now, that means we agree. And I don't know if I'm glazing myself here. I'm surprised that you agree with me because I thought I was glazing myself here. We've both put in first place Team Spire.
This is correct.
I want to know your perspective of this.
Before I did all these predictions, I was thinking there's like 3 things these teams need. You need island experience, you need brawls experience, and you need a really good team leader, because you need to be able to transition between these games. It's going to be a difficult event. Having a good team leader is more important than it's ever been in any other Islanders ever. 1, because there's 5 players, and 2, because the event is so different. I feel like you're the perfect fit for that team leader role. I also think you bounce off well with Snitch and other people on that team. So immediately that ticked that box. You have really good Islanders experience. Your team is one of the most, it could be the most experienced team in the event. That could be the case for Islanders and Brawlers. So that is such a useful asset to your team. And overall, individually, so many of you pull your weight. It is a crazy, well, sort of balanced team where there's not really an S tier, but every single player on the team has potential to do really well. I know I mentioned earlier that not having like a really good player can be a big hindrance to a team, but I actually don't think that's the case here, because you have so much experience in brawls where you actually now probably are considered a top player, in my opinion.
That's like a crazy thing to think about, especially with like the Brawls side of it. Is like it's hard to say I'm not an S tier in like Brawlers because I have won 2 out of the 4 events. It's very much like I've played in the most Islanders, obviously, because I'm the one who's been hosting it. I've played in every single event, and I think having all of those different tactics from all of the different teams and all of the different people I've met, I've very much gone from being someone who completely sucked at the game to now being someone who I feel like I can be a fair top frag on this team. And I think, like how I mentioned with other teams, like Riptide with Team I and Royals with your team, I think I am that player for our team. Like, how I do is very much going to be an impact on how well we do, because I feel like I have the responsibility to lead here. I have the responsibility to be the top frag if we're playing 2 Brawlers games, which is where I need to shine. And if I can do that well, then yes, we can absolutely be a first place team. I don't know, I have learned a lot from Islanders, and Islanders finale is my chance to prove that. If you look at this team compared to some of the other teams, because you see the other teams have Winters and Distraction and you and Ripnard, and you see these players who you think are absolutely a lot stronger than me, but I want to prove that I can beat those players. And that's kind of what I've gone for with this team. I've wanted to make myself the quote unquote top frag because I see this event as proving myself.
Okay, fair. I think
that's kind of where we're
one
at.
thing
So,
I would also say is there is a chance that your team is the team that most wants to win this event.
yes. I think it's mainly just like I don't know how Snitch feels about it. I feel like Technics is playing more for fun. I feel like it's kind of just me. I would like your predictions to be right because I think me versus you dodgeball. Has that ever happened? I would love to see a me versus
No,
you
no, it
dodgeball.
hasn't happened. I just hope the team that wins this event, I hope they really deserve it. I hope they put in the
Yeah, for
performance
sure,
that you
for
need to
sure.
win. I want a
I
good team to win this
genuinely
event.
think it can be any of these teams. All 8 of them are just like solid teams. It's anyone's game. And I think the game order and how much teams practice and how much teams communicate prior to the event will have a very big impact on how well they do in the event. I guess this is me calling out to anyone watching this video. Take advantage of that. Like, hop on MCC Island, hop on Brawls with your team. Figure out what you want to do because this is the Islanders finale. This matters. This is for everything. All the marbles, you know? I don't know. I'm trying to hype up this event as much as I can. I hope everyone enjoys it. I hope it's really close. And I hope the dodgeball is interesting. I really want to see like a big, interesting final dodgeball, and I think the 5 players will help a lot with that. There we have it. There's the predictions for this event, bro. The big part of this is the reason we're doing this is because SpeZy this like whole time since he joined Islanders has been doing like predictions videos. So go and subscribe to his channel. I wanted to do a big finale, invite you on the Islanders channel and do like official predictions. I thought that would be a good way to tie it all up and also hype up the finale. So thank you for
100%.
being here. I appreciate it. Go subscribe to SpeZy, and apart from that, I think that's all, right?
I think we're done here.
What's your message to the world, SpeZy? You can close this off. I'll let you have the last line.
Okay, I like this. Snitch MC will get 40th.